welcome to the inaugural Vice President of Research and Innovation Awards 2023, live from the magnificent concert hall at TU Dublin. Welcome to all of you here in the room, and also welcome to those of you joining us on the live feed. My name is Claire Mac Namee, and I have the great honour of being your host for this evening's awards. Tonight we recognise the excellence of our research and innovation community. If you have ever stood in a room and looked around and thought, oh my goodness, everyone in this room is smarter than me, then tonight you're probably right, for across this audience, we have some of Ireland's greatest innovators, investigators, creators, futurists, technologists, joining us here this evening to celebrate the magnificent achievements of our research and innovation community. The judging panel were blown away by the talent, and although there can only be one winner in each category, we hope that all of the nominees leave here this evening knowing that you are all truly winners and fantastic ambassadors for the research and innovation community, both here on the national stage and on the global stage. And now on to the awards format. We have 10 awards to announce this evening, each of which recognise the contributions of our research and innovation community. Every single nominee this evening is going to receive an award, and those awards will be available at the front of the room at the end of the event. What we will do is, as I announce each award, I will ask the nominees to please be upstanding in your seats. We will then recognise all of the nominees, and then I will announce the winner within each category. If you are announced as a winner, you may make your way to the stage here, where your award will be given to my left. I hope I haven't confused you all too much with the stand up, sit down, step in, step out. We don't want to do the hokey cokey here tonight. But before our awards take place, we have three fantastic speakers. Dr. Mary Meany, our Deputy President and Registrar, Dr. Brendan Jennings, our Vice President of Research and Innovation, and a keynote address by Professor Philip Nolan, Director General of SFI and Chief Executive Designate of the new Research and Innovation Ireland Agency. Before the ceremony closes, as the ceremony closes, I will invite you all outside for some refreshments. Apologies to those on the live feed, there's none for you. Before I hand over to our first speaker, I'd like to invite all of our guests here to help us share this celebration beyond our concert hall this evening. You can do so by taking out your phone and sending a tweet, popping a post on Instagram, or popping onto LinkedIn. The hashtag for the event is hashtag TU Dublin or I Awards. So please help us make some collective noise and really celebrate all of the achievements of our research and innovation community. Tonight is not a night for polite clapping, it's a celebration. So wild applause, cheering, whooping, hollering, wailing are not only welcomed but are wildly encouraged. So to see how good this audience is tonight, please put your hands together and give a warm TU Dublin welcome to our Deputy President, Dr. Mary Meany.
Claire, thank you very much. I should have read the small print, I think, before I agreed to do this, and I should start by saying that David sends his apologies. He's not able to make it this evening. He's away this week. In the small print, it would have mentioned that it was a live stream, I think, first of all, which may not be my most preferred way to spend a Monday evening. And secondly, now Claire has really added to that by reminding me that I am certainly in amongst the very, very bright minds, and certainly, as she says, in a situation where we might question as to how bright one is when compared to them. So to start, can I thank every single one of you for your contribution to the university. That contribution from, indeed, before we became TU Dublin and right through as we have built to really become Ireland's first technological university. As we reflect on the fact that we will be celebrating our 5th birthday on the 1st of January, we have to think how quickly I think that time has actually gone. But also, I think as we reflect back and as we cope with the huge amount of change that has taken place, I think it's great to have an opportunity like this to really reflect and celebrate those who have really contributed to the university. Research and innovation was at the heart of the Institutes of Technology, but indeed is absolutely at the core of a technological university such as TU Dublin. Carrying out research and innovation is indeed that differentiator between, I suppose, a teaching institution and a true university. And it is you, the community, who actually do that really allow us to become that technological university that we are all so proud of. So I'm delighted that I am here this evening, and indeed that you're all here, to celebrate these awards. And before I finish, I'd just like to thank Brendan, who was the one who proposed that such awards would take place. I think we are so busy at times trying to get onto the new, trying to ensure that we really deliver for our students, be they undergraduates or postgraduates, that we don't take that time to stop and to celebrate. And it is fantastic to have that opportunity to absolutely thank you, as I've said earlier, for that contribution, to celebrate your contribution, and therefore I'm delighted to be here this evening. Thank you very much.
I'll give you about 8 out of 10 for that first clap. I know you guys have more in you. Thank you very... No. I'll collect my P45 on the way out. Thank you all so much, and thank you to Mary for your welcome address. Can you please put your hands together and welcome our Vice President of Research and Innovation, Dr. Brendan Jennings.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and guests from some of our most important strategic partners, good evening, and thank you for joining us on what is a very special event for TU Dublin, our inaugural Research and Innovation Award ceremony. We gather this evening to celebrate and recognise the remarkable achievements of our researchers and innovators. It is an opportunity to honour the dedication and the passion that drives them to explore the frontiers of knowledge and generate innovative solutions that can have a positive impact on our world. Whilst our university has always been a hub of creativity and innovation, we have not yet come together to acknowledge and celebrate the incredible research and innovation work that happens here daily. With this new annual event, we are taking the first steps in changing that, and I assure you it won't be the last. Tonight we will present 10 awards, the winners selected by an external panel from nominations solicited from the entire university community. We were really delighted to receive such a large number of nominations for each award. I think that really reflects the excellence and commitment of so many of our colleagues working right across our schools and faculties. Over the 2 years since I joined TU Dublin, I've continued to be really impressed with the breadth and the depth of the excellent R&I activity in the university. Our community comprises at least 1,000 people, including our research postgraduate students, postdoctoral researchers, professional research staff, research support staff, academic staff, of course, and our emeritus and emerita fellows. It is a community that builds on the strong heritage of research and innovation activity in the TU Dublin founding institutions, and one that embodies, I think, a really collective ethos of focusing its efforts on the outcomes, the insights, technologies, and solutions that can be harnessed to effect real change in our world. Other universities nationally can certainly boast of having higher volumes of research and innovation activity, but I think in TU Dublin we can be especially proud of our ability to maximise the impact of investment in research. So, for example, data from the National Annual Knowledge Transfer Survey shows that for every €10 million of research expenditure, our university has the highest rate nationally on a range of outputs, including invention disclosures, patent filings, and creation of startups utilizing university-generated intellectual property. Simultaneously, and probably at the other end of the spectrum, we have probably the best track record nationally in terms of making our research outputs openly available through our institutional repository, and we are leading a lot of national open science initiatives. As a technological university, we are committed to further expanding our level of R&I in the coming years. Our university executive team recently approved our first 5-year research and innovation strategy, which will be launched in the coming weeks. I won't go into detail today, but the strategy outlines how the university will continue to nurture a vibrant, well-resourced, resilient, and supportive environment in which TU Dublin researchers and innovators can work individually and across disciplinary boundaries to create a better world together. In implementing our R&I strategy, we will also be able to harness the real positive new energy and thinking that is embodied in our still relatively new national R&I strategy, Impact 2030. Fortunately for us, Impact 2030 is exceptionally well aligned to our understanding of the role and value of a well-funded public R&I ecosystem in our country. And it is in that context that I'm delighted to welcome Professor Philip Nolan, the CEO Designate of the new National Research Funding Agency and the current Director General of Science Foundation Ireland, to share his thoughts on the implementation of Impact 2030 and the future of research in Ireland. So I might ask Philip to come and share his thoughts with us. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Brandon and Mary, and it's a great pleasure to be here with you. I think this is the first time that I've been introduced live from a concert hall. So those opening words kind of struck immediate fear into my heart. I thought, one, I'm in the wrong place. Two, spoken word is my only medium. So I somehow feel inadequate to the setting, but hopefully I'm not entirely inadequate to the task. I'm only going to speak for about 10 minutes to talk a little bit about where I envision the research and innovation ecosystem, which is a word everybody uses, but I am going to maybe unpack what are the implications of thinking about the research system as an ecosystem. I'm going to speak for about 10 minutes, but I'm really pleased to be here. And I'm really pleased to participate in these Research and Innovation Awards because it allows me to recognize the very particular and important place that TU Dublin, in one sense a young institution as a university, in another sense a much older history of education, and in particular inclusive education. So it allows me to recognize the kind of, as I say, particular and important position within our research system that this institution occupies, and to be part of this really appropriate celebration of the quality and diversity and richness of the research within this institution. And it's great to be, it's a privilege to be part of that celebration, but it's also helpful to me because I see it as my job and my role to allow that capacity and that ability and that richness and diversity within the institution to grow and develop according to its own path and its own journey over the next decades. And you can be assured of my support in so doing. I think it's important to point out that this is a particular institution. And we hear a lot, and we should do, about the role of the technological universities in the development of research and innovation in Ireland and what it should be over the next few decades. But I think it's also important to recognize that what we really have in this jurisdiction and on this island is a diversity of institutions, so that not all universities are the same and not all technological universities are the same. So if I look at the sector that I originally came from, and as president of Maynooth, I found Maynooth very different from some of the other traditional universities, or whatever we're allowed to call the older form of university in this context. And then equally within the TU sector, there's quite a diversity of institutions. So I think it's very important as a starting point in talking about what we might like the future to look like, to recognize that almost every institution is different from almost every other institution. They each have their unique capacities and strengths. They each have their path dependencies and journeys that they're on, and their strategies, as Brendan has said, as to where they're going. They each have their particular constraints, and sometimes those constraints are shared across all technological universities. Sometimes they're particular to one or two, and then equally right across the system, some constraints are particular to some parts of the institution. So I think it's just important right up front that we have had this afternoon a really open and useful initial conversation with colleagues in this university about what they want the future to look like. What opportunities do they perceive, and how do our funding and grant instruments in SFI and IRC match to those? Where are the gaps, where are the obstacles, and where are the points where things don't mesh in an appropriate manner? So let me say at the beginning that my approach and the approach of the new agency, which we believe will be called TIDA Éireann or Research Ireland, the approach will be that of a supportive, developmental, building on strengths and investing in people. That's the kind of fundamental strand of the approach. So let me just start then briefly with Impact 2030. For me, Impact 2030 is a compelling strategy outlined by the state for the future of research and innovation on the island. For me, it represents a maturing of our systematic state-led approach to research. I think it's really useful for us to remember, as a country, I met some people earlier today who, like me, remember when there was really minimal state investment in research. And the state has only been investing seriously in research for about 20 years, with the Programme for Research in Third-Level Institutions, and in which the late Chuck Feeney played such a central part, with the Foundation of Science Foundation Ireland, and with the foundation of the Irish Councils, which merged to become the Irish Research Council. So we've only been doing this seriously for about 20 years, and for 10 of those years, right as we kind of reached the peak energy of our investment, we had the global financial crisis, and that redirected, appropriately perhaps, huge amounts of effort into science and technology and short and medium-term approaches to work that would bolster the economy and allow us to recover economically. We have recovered economically, we've been through a pandemic, and now we have a state strategy for investment in research which emphasizes a very broad range of objectives. And first of all, it looks for a very broad impact of research. You could argue that over the last decade, the focus of our research has been on economic growth and development. Impact 2030 appropriately broadens that scope, or the impact concerns of research, much more broadly into benefits for society, benefits for the environment, benefits for the planet, and of course, benefits for our economy. It talks very much about investing in research talent. I think there's a realization within the state architecture, within the state policy architecture, that we have had some real successes in terms of the research funded by Science Foundation Ireland and by the Irish Research Council. But what we have probably failed to do adequately is invest enough in people, individual people at various stages in their careers, pursuing the question that they and their field and their peers find most interesting. So I think there's a real understanding that the kinds of things that we need to know and understand that will help us in the long run in terms of where we need to be in 10, 20, 30 years from now, is to allow people, first of all, to be really highly trained in a discipline, and secondly, to pursue the questions and the issues that are of greatest interest or greatest curiosity, the things that are most difficult, the most angular, the hardest to explain. They're the kinds of things that really good researchers are attracted to. They're the knotty problems that lead to this impression that you're all much cleverer than we are, and indeed probably are. So there's a real focus in Impact 2030 on focusing on talent and ensuring, to quote it, that we have a resilient fundamental research base. Personally, I'd like to see that rethought slightly as a fundamental curiosity-led research base. If researchers are led by their curiosity, it's not necessarily basic research or applied research. You could be curious about why something doesn't work or doesn't work in this application. But what it does is it trusts the researchers and the field to follow the path through the unknown that's most interesting and over time most likely to lead to the most fruitful, the most insightful, the most useful, the most groundbreaking types of result. So there's a real shift in government strategy to say the reason that we do research is very broad in its outcomes, everything from people to the planet. And the way we get the very best outcomes in research is to invest in the most talented people and allow them to do the most interesting things. And if you get those two things right, then on top of that base of talent, you can build some really exciting and innovative things. You can do challenge research focused on a given problem. You can do interdisciplinary research where you bring people together across different disciplines in order to focus on an issue which can only be addressed by many disciplines. And you can focus on engaged research, which allows you to work with communities to do research with and for them rather than research about them or research on them. But you can only do that if you have that prior investment in talent and people. You can only do interdisciplinary research if you have strength in the disciplines. And I think we're at this cusp through Impact 2030 of government recognizing that. I do think we have to work with government and work with the administrative system so that they understand that in greater depth and they understand why it costs what it costs. But I do think the minds and the hearts are open. And part of that is the learning we had during the pandemic, where suddenly the political and administrative and public system understood just how valuable this broad range of sciences was. And they didn't just see the value of the biological sciences. They saw the value of the social and human and behavioral sciences in helping us as a society understand why we are the way we are. And they understood the value of the humanities and the arts in new ways as the humanities and the arts had to transform themselves to continue creative practice in the most unusual of circumstances. And of course, turning that lens to the digital transition, to sustainability, to the climate and ecological crisis, again, governments and publics are beginning to understand the value that all disciplines bring to trying to imagine, shape, explain, develop, build a different and sustainable future for ourselves. So in the context of that strategy, government has decided to create a new research agency out of the experience of Science Foundation Ireland and the Irish Research Council, to create a new thing, Research Ireland, with a vision to build a strong fundamental research base across all disciplines, and on that, being able to build excellence in interdisciplinary research and engaged research, not just in partnership with enterprise, but a great interest in partnership with the public service so that we can have better policies and services, an interest in partnership with civil society to build resilience and governance within our communities, and an interest in the cultural and creative sectors about how does research and creative practice and cultural expression mesh. And this, as I say, is grounded in this kind of transnational concern at this point about some of the major challenges that face us, in particular the climate and ecological crisis, as I've mentioned, but also this kind of growing crisis in democracy and public discourse, and how we think about each other and how we think about the future. And in that context, then, to draw towards a conclusion, to say two things. What we're doing, then, is building on the legacy of Science Foundation Ireland and the Irish Research Council, understanding what has worked, also understanding what has worked less well and what might need to change or be stopped, and try and build something that's better than the sum of the two existing and very, very strong parts. My commitment and guarantee is to balance the most important thing that we can do strategically over the next decade is strike the right balance between, you could articulate it in many ways, between basic research and applied and engaged research, between the different disciplines so that each discipline is invested in an appropriate way with parity of esteem, that we support people right through their career stages, that we provide appropriate supports to different modes of research, including interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary research, but not confined to that. So the first commitment is a commitment to balance across those different types of research, those different parts of somebody's career. And a second commitment is a commitment to an integrative approach across all research performers. So the purpose of being here earlier today was to understand in real detail the capacities and needs of the researchers in this institution, more broadly in this part of the system, and even more broadly in the system as a whole. And of course, technological universities, you know, if we're sponsoring talent across all dimensions, we should be sponsoring that talent wherever it exists institutionally, and we should be pushing the institution to support that talent, and we'll do that. And then finally, by way of conclusion, it is an ecosystem, and we all use those words, but I just urge you to remember, and I think you know this intuitively, it's an ecosystem, and that looks very different from kind of intensive farming. Ecosystems are sustainable, they are diverse. It's not always clear precisely what's going on within it, and you don't necessarily know what you're going to get out of the ecosystem in the long run. But you're taking the long view that this is a sustainable richness which will support generations into the future. And that's the commitment that you're getting from the government, actually explicitly in Impact 2030, and from me as Chief Executive Designate of the new agency. Yes, of course, building on a strong base, we'll continue to see what we can deliver in the short and medium term for the society, for the economy and the planet. But more than half of our focus is going to be on what are we laying down in terms of talent, people and knowledge to sustain us and the planet into the long term. It's been a real pleasure, it is a real pleasure to be with you, and I can move from my fact-finding and exposition phase into the simple celebration and applause phase of your great achievements, and in recognising the achievements, be assured of our support for you in your work over the decades to come. Grangegorman.
Thank you very much, Professor Nolan. We are heartened to hear of the ambition for the new agency, and we look forward to close collaboration between TU Dublin and the new agency well into the future. And now the moment that all the nominees are excitedly waiting for, the awards ceremony. To join me to present the first couple of awards, I'd like to invite Dr. Brendan Jennings to join me on stage. Our first award this evening, folks, is the Early Career Researcher Award, an award in recognition of research excellence commensurate with career stage of less than 8 years post-PhD. I would like to invite the following nominees to please be upstanding in your seats. Not on your seats, in your seats, okay? Ammar Abbas, Saeed Ali Mohammadi, Hani Al-Khatib, Amy Byrne, Jean Carolyn, Chibusi Chinawaki Okor Iomo, Derval Cody, Gronya Coughlin, Suzanne Doyle, Hector Diego Estrada Lugo, Diego Code, Anke Klitzing, Gareth Lingham, Tanya Malik, Shane Malone, Keith Murphy, Barry Nevin, Anushri Piadarshini, Keith Quill, Mariana Rocca, Wakar Shahid Karishi, Sachin Sharma, and Joe Warren. Please show your appreciation for our wonderful nominees. You may now take your seats. The winner of the Early Career Researcher Award 2023 is Syed Alamo Hamadi. Syed is currently leading the largest research group in the School of Mechanical Engineering. Since starting employment in TU Dublin in 2018, Syed has had an upward publication trajectory with an excellent record of 22 peer-reviewed publications alone, collaborating with Microsoft Seattle Energy Research, Intel Thermal Management, and SFI centers including ESIP, Connect, and MARI. Syed's work has already made significant impact. Example, the design of the novel device to replace rotary fans in the server rack cooling, which can help revolutionize data center thermal management. Congratulations, Syed. You are the TU Dublin Early Career Researcher Awardee 2023. Our second award is the Established Researcher Career Award, an award in recognition of the distinguished achievements and outstanding contributions commensurate with someone at an established career stage. May I ask the following nominees to please be upstanding? Maximan, Caterina De Moro Pinto Marveo, Sarah Jane Delaney, Paul Donnelly, Noel Fitzpatrick, Helen Lawler, Luca Longo, Mortine McComara, Suzanne Martin, Kevin Murphy, Sue Norton, Christine O'Connor, and Yulia Semenova. Please show your appreciation. You may now take your seats. The winner of the Established Researcher Career Award 2023 is Dr. Caterina De Moro Pinto Marveo. Dr. Caterina's research relates to SDG Goals 8 and 9 of decent work and economic growth and industry, innovation and infrastructure. Given her policy-oriented research and outputs, Caterina has been working with the Irish Competition Authority and the Irish Central Bank on regulatory issues. Congratulations, Caterina, you are this year's winner. Our third award is an award for excellence in provision of support to researchers. And I would like to invite Deputy President Brendan Jennings, who's already standing up, who wrote the script. We all know that behind every great researcher is a fantastic research support person and research support office. They're often the unsung heroes when we want to get something in and endorsed at a last-minute deadline. I'm seeing some very guilty faces around here for that. This award is given in recognition of the contribution of staff from TU Dublin who provide support to our research community. And may I ask the following nominees to please be upstanding? Anna Besseville, Aidan Carthy, Aisling Coyne, Jesus Frias Caliente, Carrie Houston, Paul Hines, Mary McNamara, Caroline O'Sullivan, Oluwagasan Sariki, and Esther Tori Biarora. Please show your appreciation for our hardworking research support staff. Thank you for your service. You may now be seated. The winner of the Excellence in Provision of Support to Researchers Award is Dr. Kerry Houston. Dr. Houston is a recognized international musicologist. He is always available for queries and is extremely considerate and sympathetic regarding students' welfare, and has on many occasions assisted them with organizing their finances, obtaining grants and accommodation so as to lessen their burden, enriching their academic experience and enabling them to have an immersive and rewarding research period. Dr. Houston has always been available where any queries or problems have arisen and has been a stalwart in supporting the composition department since its inception. Dr. Houston does not limit himself to office hours. He is open to assisting in all circumstances that are within his remit and is attentive to the requirements in any given time, in any given situations. Congratulations, Dr. Houston. The fourth award for this evening is the Research Engagement Award. This award is given in recognition for a research active staff member who has created meaningful research scholarship partners with non-academic societal partners with the goal of making effective and sustainable change. I invite the following nominees to please be upstanding. Damon Berry, Pier Paolo Dondio, David Gall, Aileen Kennedy, Susan McKeever, Deirdre McQuillan, Emma Murphy, Liz O'Sullivan, Keith Quill, Dimple Sullivan, and Claire Wynne. Please give them a round of applause. Congratulations, you may now take your seats. The winner of our Research Engagement Award 2023 is Dr. Susan McKeever with the End Night Project. Online child sexual exploitation and abuse is the fastest growing form of violence against children. In 2021 alone, 85 million abused child images and videos were detected online. 89% of victims are between 3 and 13 years of age. Current work in this area has focused largely on image and video detection, with central databases created to support law enforcement, such as Interpol's ICSE image and video database. Far less focus has been given to the tactics of groomers and how they approach and coerce their child victims. The End Night Project is addressing the challenge of identifying how victims are being approached, using artificial intelligence to automatically interrogate sources. The project involves close and trusted collaboration with ISPCC and Hotline to use their victim and report logs for discovering how victims are being approached. End Night Phase 1 delivered a localized web tool for ISPCC and Hotline.ie to deliver real-time, reusable analysis of child abuse information and patterned visualization. Congratulations, Susan, on this commendable work. You are the winner of the Research Engagement Award 2023. Our fifth award is for excellence in research supervision, an award in recognition of a research supervisor as nominated by a research master's, PhD students, or recent alumni. Who's presenting this award? It's not. Whoever's presenting, please make yourself. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Whew. May I ask the following nominees to please be upstanding? Max Aman, Brian Barry, Hugh Byrne, Gordon Chambers, Shannon Chance, Sarah Jane Delaney, Jesus Frias Calienta, David Gall, Anne Green, Orla Howe, Paul Hines, Fintan Kelleher, Philippe Le Marchand, Luca Longo, Glenn Lochran, Marcin McConmer Imra, Eamon Marr, Maria McHale, Susan McKeever, Gráinne Mulvey, Emma Murphy, Keith Murphy, Roisin Murphy, Isabella Denova, Denise O'Leary, Christine O'Connor, Keith Quill, Bernadette Quinn, Robert Ross, Barry Ryan, Yulia Semenova, Matt Smith, and Farong Tian. Congratulations to this wonderful group of supervisors. The winner of the 2023 award for excellence in research supervision is Dr. Hugh Byrne. Some comments from some of Hugh's students. Hugh's students said Hugh is very dedicated towards research and has excellent organization skills. He's very knowledgeable and fun to work with. He's very prompt whenever we need his help and provides timely feedback. Are you going to sing? No, not. He keeps us motivated during the low points of our research. Is there low points in research? All right. Hugh does timely meetings alongside any extra meetings required for us to guide us through our project work. We sometimes meet more than 4 to 5 times a week and are constantly connected via email. An exemplary supervisor, no doubt. Congratulations to Hugh. Well done. Our next award is our Multidisciplinary Research Team Award 2023. This award recognizes outstanding and impactful research initiative or a project based on a collaborative, multidisciplinary team approach. May I ask the following team member nominees to please be upstanding? This is a long list. Here we go. Buckle up. Alberto Caimo, Andre Almo, Andrea Curley, Andreas Alonso Perez, Anna Bishavel, Anushri Piyadarsheen, Barry Ryan, Bojanga Bojanjevic, Brendan Tierney, Christina Kenny, Kieran Nugent, Courage Kra, Damien Gordon, Damon Berry, Daniel Burke, Devish Jawa, Dimpna O'Sullivan, Emma Murphy, Enrico Munoz de Escalo Fernandez, Gary Heenahan, Gemma Kinsler, Giacomo de Cupa, Hector Diego Estrada Lugo, Huede Briwa, Alaria Furlan, Jennifer Murphy, Jesus Maria Frias Calienta, Joe Warren, John D. Kelleher, Jonathan Turner, Julie Dunn, Luisa Anrade, Manas Sharif Khani, Maria Amaral, Mayid Barmain, Maria Shialeva, Mariana Rocca, Martin Badu, Mary Kinahan, Maeve Dowler, Michael Collins, Nigel Vahi, Paul Hines, Pierpaolo Dondio, Vaishelo Therme, Victor Hrime, and Yanis Stravakis. Please show your hands of appreciation to these outstanding researchers. Thank you. You may now be seated. The winners of the Multidisciplinary Research Team Award 2023 is the Smart Self-Care for Dementia team led by Dr. Dimpna O'Sullivan. I'd like to invite the team down to collect their award. An estimated 55,000 people are living with dementia in Ireland. Increasing age is the strongest risk factor for dementia. And with an aging population, the number of people with dementia in Ireland is expected to almost triple to 152,000 by 2046. In research funded by the SFI Frontiers for the Future programme, the team have developed a cutting-edge computerized toolkit for dementia self-management to support persons with dementia to live independently in their own homes. The toolkit has been developed by a multidisciplinary team that includes persons with dementia and their formal carers, policy advisors from the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, occupational therapists from Our Lord's Hospital in Drogheda, computer scientists, and electronic engineers. Congratulations on being worthy recipients of tonight's award. We are now more than halfway through the awards ceremony. And as we move on to our 6th award, which is the Innovation Impact Award, I'd like to invite Dr. Paul Maguire, Head of Innovation and Knowledge Transfer, to join me on stage to give out this award. Before we move on, how are we getting on online, folks? Have we got TU Dublin trending yet? If not, now's the time to take out your phone, pop onto Instagram, pop onto LinkedIn, pop onto Twitter, and use the hashtag TU Dublin ORI Awards to share the celebration. Our next award is our Innovation Impact Award. This award is in recognition of researchers who have generated outstanding cultural, economic, environmental, or societal impact from their research. I invite the following nominees to please be upstanding: Rena Barry-Ryan, Niamh Gilmartin, James Lockman, Dan McCartney, Liz O'Sullivan, Philip Owende, and Robert Ross. Please show your appreciation for this remarkable group of people. The winner of the Innovation Impact Award for 2023 is Dr. Dan McCartney. Dr. McCartney set up a multidisciplinary COVID-D consortium in September 2020, comprising of leading clinicians, academic and scientists in geriatric and respiratory medicine, clinical biochemistry, immunology, endocrinology, and biostatistics across Ireland. This led to the first full peer-reviewed publication in the international literature proposing a direct causal relationships between low vitamin D status and the increased risk and severity of the COVID-19 infection. Since its publication, it has become the 3rd most highly cited paper in the history of the Irish Medical Journal since its establishment in 1867. Dr. McCartney's research has supported the development of new HSE guidelines for vitamin D supplementation of nursing home residents in January 2021, which means that less residents required hospital treatment for COVID-19. Sincere congratulations, Dr. Dan McCartney. You are the Innovation Impact Awardee for 2023. Our 8th award is our One to Watch Award, the one that recognizes researchers who are developing outputs with real commercial potential. May I ask the following nominees to please be upstanding: Amit Yaswell, Andy Knox, Kathy Ennis, Kieran Collins, Fiona Ryan, Tatiana Mikulchik, Forong Tian, Gerard Gallagher, Helen Sheridan, and Therese Murphy. Please give them a round of applause. And the winner of the One to Watch Award for 2023 is Dr. Kieran Collins and Dr. Fiona Ryan. Dr. Kieran Collins, in collaboration with Dr. Fiona Ryan, have received the highest ever EI Commercialisation Award to TU Dublin for the development of an early-stage sports tech company, emanating from their research in the development of an intelligent sports analytic platform to help sports bodies, organizations and franchises solve the problem of data overload and intelligence. The team have over 150 publications with collaboration across sporting organizations and sports technology companies in Ireland and internationally. The research has also been the catalyst for 4 startup companies, with 3 still in existence. Their research students are embedded within sporting organizations and technology companies in Ireland, UK, and the USA. The team currently leads the largest artificial intelligence in sports project on the island of Ireland. Congratulations, Kieran and Fiona. You are our One to Watch awardees for 2023. We are on to our final 2 awards, folks. So as Henry VIII said to his second wife, I won't keep you too long. For these last 2 awards, I'd like to invite our Vice President of Sustainability, Jennifer Boyer, to join me here on stage to present the awards. The next presentation is the Research in Climate Action Award, an award that recognizes researchers who demonstrate real-world impact and resilience actions for our society, economy, and the environment in response to climate change. I'd like to invite the following nominees to please be upstanding. Michelle Giltrap and Pat Goodman. Please show your appreciation for our nominees. And the winner of the Research in Climate Action Award is Professor Pat Goodman. Professor Goodman is the author of over 100 peer-reviewed articles, reports, and books in the area of air quality and public health. He is principal investigator with the Air Quality Group and the Clinical Measurement Groups at TU Dublin. He supervised over 40 research students to completion and has acted as an expert advisor to the EU, WHO, and USPA. Congratulations on being a worthy winner of this award. And we've made it to the final award of the evening. Our final award is the Research and Sustainability Education Action Award, an award which recognizes researchers who have developed and demonstrated impact in this new area of research to inform learning and teaching practices central to studying complex contemporary societal issues. For the final time tonight, I invite the following nominees to please be upstanding. Rena Barry-Ryan, Julie Dunn, Olivia Freeman, Glenn Loughran, Cormac McMahon, Aloke McAlpine, Janet McKennedy, Deirdre McQuillan, Lucia Walsh. And the winner of the Research and Sustainability Education Action Award 2023 is Dr. Cormac McMahon. Congratulations, Cormac, for leading a project team for research that investigated how living lab practices can be embedded in the academic curricula by fostering of sustainability learning. The project led to the development of a computational technique that is currently being used to evaluate TU Dublin's curricula for the embeddedness of sustainability components and their alignment to the SDGs. The tool has already been piloted with over 20 academic programs. The tool is also being used in support of workshops aimed at assisting academic staff to explore the relevance of SDGs to their modules and their programs, and in optimizing the narrative within their school module descriptors to best reflect the SDGs. Congratulations, Cormac. I will now invite the Vice President for Research and Innovation, Dr. Brendan Jennings, to the stage for closing remarks.
Okay, I'm actually going to try to thank everyone. I did have my own list, but I forgot to bring it. So I now have my biggest challenge of the night, which is to read an academic's writing. So we'll try. No, so many people we'd like to thank for helping to organize and get this event together. It was a pretty serious undertaking over a few months. So in no particular order, I'd like to thank Paul McNulty from the Conservatoire for allowing us to use the concert hall, Eamon Fox and Cormac Carroll, who provided excellent technical support for us this evening. Emer McDonough, a student in the Conservatoire, who will be entertaining us with some great music outside shortly. I'd like to thank all the team who worked on the logistics and the planning for the event. Aideen Finley, Anne Campion, Linda Fitzpatrick, Gordon Cook, Catherine Bates, Andy Maguire, Danielle Whelan, Paul Maguire, Jennifer Boyer, Mary Deasy, and of course our wonderful and very impressive MC, Claire Mac Namee. I'd like to acknowledge the award plaques that were handed out, were made in this building by Paul Hendrick from Create Lab. So it's wonderful to be able to build our own awards. So Paul and Dr. John Walsh helped design those. And I'd like to thank Brian Moore, who did the photography for us tonight, and Luke O'Reilly, who did the videography. But most of all, I'd like to thank everyone who nominated a colleague and everyone who was nominated. Thanks so much for the effort you all put into doing that, to acknowledge and celebrate the excellent work of your colleagues across the university. It's wonderful to see so many people taking the time to point out a colleague who they think really is deserving of award. And I'm very conscious that there are so many people in this university who deserve these recognitions. And I look forward to seeing many more of you up on the podium receiving these awards in the years ahead. So I might just hand you back to Claire to close the event. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Brendan. We've now made it to the end of this evening's event. You're meant to all go, oh. It's sadder than that. That's better. I'd like to thank the audience for their tremendous participation and support of each other, and for all of this evening's nominees and the award recipients. Once the event closes, all guests are invited to go out to the lobby where there will be refreshments, and the award winners and nominees are asked to remain in their seats where you'll be called for photography. Before I finish, I'd like to thank every member of the TU Dublin Research and Innovation community for your service and for your contributions that you make to this university and beyond. Your perseverance, grit, and determination certainly remind me of my favorite Steve Jobs quote, which is, "The people who are crazy enough to believe that they can change the world are the ones who usually do." Thank you and good night.